Today we'll see the 1D FEM problem for torsional loading. Now many times the shaft is subjected to a torque or a twisting moment, okay, and because of that, because of the twisting moment applied to the shaft, torsional stresses are developed. So how to find out or how to apply finite element method for finding the torsional stresses developed in the shaft because of the torsional loading or because of the twisting moment or because of the torque applied to the shaft. Okay, so consider this is a step shaft. Okay, then there are two twisting moment or two torque is being applied. Here you can see that there are two arrows. So these two arrows indicates that the applied load is torque, and the magnitude is given 10 kilonewton meter. So kilonewton meter, that's it, that itself indicates that there is a twisting moment or torque is being applied. So a torque and a twisting moment is being applied of 10 kilonewton, and twisting moment at this junction is applied of 15 kilonewton meter in clockwise direction. So this side arrow indicates that there is a clockwise, and this side indicates there is anti-clockwise. So clockwise consider as positive. So if the arrows are indicating towards the positive x-axis, that means there is a clockwise torque applied, and if the two arrows indicates in negative direction, that means anti-clockwise. So clockwise torques are always considered as positive and anti-clockwise torques are considered as negative. Okay, so consider there is a positive torque, positive clockwise torque applied, one at the junction, at this junction, and another one at this junction. Okay, then the length of the first member, first step is given 1 meter. This is 2 meter, this is 2 meter. Okay, then the physical properties of the material is given. Now here you can see that G is given. So G is what? Modulus of rigidity. Modulus of rigidity. So in case of point load, there were modulus of elasticity, that is Young's modulus. But for twisting moment or for torque, modulus of rigidity is used, and the value of modulus of rigidity is given as 60 GPa. And all the three steps are made up of same material. So that is why only one value is given. So one value that in itself indicates that the material of all the three steps are same. Then there are J1, J2, J3. These are what? Polar moment of inertia. Polar moment of inertia. Okay. So here the diameter of this step shaft is not given. So in place of diameter of step shaft, polar moment of inertia is used. Now in case of point load, we need cross-sectional area, but for thermal, for torsional loading problem, we require polar moment of inertia. Now if polar moment of inertia is directly not given and the diameter is given, for example D is given, so you can easily find out the value of J. So J is nothing but pi by 32 d to the power 4. So by using this formula, you can find out the polar moment of inertia in case the diameter of a shaft is given. Okay, if the polar moment of inertia is directly given, then there is no issue. But if in place of polar moment of inertia, if the diameters are given, so D1, D2 and D3, So in place of polar moment of inertia, if the diameters of the steps are given, then you can easily find out the value of J1, J2 and J3 by using this formula. So J is equal to pi by 32 d to the power 4. So put the values of d1, d2, d3 in this formula and you can find out the polar moment of inertia. Okay. And these are the given data, and we need to find out the angular displacement, the torsional stresses or shear stress in the shaft, and the reaction at the support. Okay. Now we apply the finite element method. Now first step is discretization. So here we have discretized it into 3 elements and 4 nodes. So this is element 1, element 2 and element 3. This is node number 1, node number 2, node number 3 and node number 4. Here theta 1 and T1. So theta 1 indicates the angular displacement at node number 1 and T1 indicates the torque at node number 1. Similarly theta 2, T2. So the angular displacement and torque at node number 2, angular displacement and torque at node number 3, angular displacement and torque at node number 4. Okay. So this is discretization. Now second step is element stiffness matrix. So we find out the element stiffness matrix. So element stiffness matrix K1 is, now here in point load we use AE by L. Now here it is G into J by L. So G1 J1 by L1, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So in place of AE by L it is GJ by L. So G in place of means modulus of rigidity in place of modulus of elasticity, polar moment of inertia in place of area, and the length is same. Okay. Now we put the values here. Okay. So G is 60 GPa, so 60 into 10 to the power 3. J is what? For first member it is given 2 into 10 to the power 7. Divide by L1. L1 is given 1 meter, so convert it into mm, so 1000. So it is 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. And this K1 is calculated as so we kept 10 to the power 9 outside the bracket. Inside the bracket it is 1.2 minus 1.2 1.2 sorry minus 1.2 1.2, and this is for node number 1 2 1 2. Okay. Similarly, we calculated values of K2 and K3. So K2 10 to the power 9 outside the bracket, inside the bracket is 0.9 minus 0.9 minus 0.9 0.9. You put the values of G2, J2 upon L2. So G is common. So G value is same. You put the values of J2 and L2 to find out K2 matrix. This is 2, 3, 2, 3. Similarly, K3 matrix 10 to the power 9 outside the bracket, inside the bracket it is 0.6. 0.6 minus 0.6 minus 0.6 0.6. This is for node number 3 4 3 4. Now you combine the element stiffness matrix 1, 2 and 3 to find out the global stiffness matrix. So the global stiffness matrix is equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. So 10 to the power 9 outside the bracket, inside the bracket, it is for node number 1, 2, 3, 4. Node number 1, 2, 3, 4. So at first place it is 1.2 minus 1.2 0 minus 1.2. So here 1.2 and 0.9 is 2.1 minus 0.9 0 0 minus 0.9. So here 0.9 and 0.6 is 1.5 minus 0.6 0 0 minus 0.6 and 0.6. Okay, so this is the global stiffness matrix. Then the global torque matrix. Now we find out the global torque matrix. Global torque matrix. So TG. This is for node number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the global the torques are given as at node number 1 there is no torque, 0. At node number 2 there is 10 kilonewton meter. So if you convert that is a positive direction. So if you convert kilonewton to newton and meter to mm, then it becomes 10 to the power 6 outside the bracket. Okay, so it is 10 to the power 6 outside the bracket, and at node number 2 there is a positive torque. At node number 3 also there is a positive torque of 15 kilonewton. So convert kilonewton to newton and meter to mm. So this becomes 15 into 10 to the power 6. So we have kept 10 to the power 6 outside the bracket and inside the bracket as 15. And at node number 4 there is no torque. So this is our global torque. Now we apply the Rayleigh-Ritz method or principle of minimum potential method. So apply PMPE or Rayleigh-Ritz method so global torque matrix is equal to the global stiffness matrix multiplied by the angular displacement matrix, global angular displacement matrix. So this is 10 to the power 6, inside the bracket is 0, 10, 15, 0 equal to 10 to the power 9 outside the bracket, inside the bracket is 1.2 minus 1.2, 0, 0, minus 1.2, 2.1, minus 0.9, 0, 0, minus 0.9, 1.5, minus 0.6, 0, 0, minus 0.6, 0.6, and the global displacement, angular displacement matrix theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4. Now here 10 to the power 6. So 10 to the power 3 remaining here. Now apply Gauss elimination. Gauss elimination. Now here node number 1 and node number 4 are fixed. So cancel out the row number, column number of the fixed nodes. And from the remaining matrix you can easily find out the values of angular moment at node number 2, angular displacement at node number 2 and angular displacement at node number 3. So angular displacement at node number 2 comes out to be 0.012. Here the value is in radians and theta 3 as 0.017 radians. Okay. Now you can find out the reaction. So reaction at node number 1 and reaction at node number 4 can be easily find out from this. So reaction at node number 1 is equal to cancelled row of K matrix cancelled first row of K matrix multiply by the global angular displacement matrix. So it is 10 to the power 9. So what is cancelled row? It is 1.2 minus 1.2, 0, 0 multiply by the global displacement matrix. So theta 1 is what? 0, theta 2 is 0.012, 0.017 and 0. So if you calculate it, then it comes out to be minus 14.4 kilonewton meter. So this is reaction at node number 1. Similarly, reaction at node number 4 can be find out by cancelled fourth row of the K matrix multiplied by the global displacement matrix, and the answer for this comes out to be minus 10.38 kilonewton meter. So this negative indicates that there is counterclockwise torque is applied. Here also counterclockwise torque is applied, because the reaction would be exactly equal and opposite to that of the external torque applied. Okay, and if you add both these values, then it comes out to be minus 25 kilonewton meter, and external load, summation of external load is also plus 25 kilonewton meter. So our displacement values, we can say, are correct. And you can find out the shear stresses. So shear stresses or thermal stresses, shear stresses or torsional stresses can be find out by, so sigma 1 is equal to G by E by L की जगह क्या रहेगा? G by L theta 2 minus theta 1. So So this comes out to be 0.7308 megapascal. Sigma 2 comes out to be 0.15 megapascal, and sigma 3 is equal to minus 0.51 megapascal. So this is how a torsional load problem can be solved by applying the 1D FEM problem. So hope you understand the procedure. So thanks for watching. Thank you.